Hi, Rachel. Welcome,
Hey,
everyone.
everybody.
Yeah, this is Dr. Julie Gilbert. I'm joined with Rachel Matthews, and we are coming at you live from Oregon Weight and Wellness in our prospective offices. And
Yes.
yeah, in here to talk about, healthy habits and just enjoy some time with you. And hope you don't get swept away by this wind.
Right.
Yeah.
And thunder and lightning yesterday and hail.
It was. I know. I felt like I was in like Oklahoma or something like
Yeah.
that.
It was pretty cool. It was
Yeah,
great.
I love thunderstorms.
Me
I
too.
really do. It just I don't know. It just makes you want to curl up with a book and
Yeah.
just
Okay.
look
So
out the window. Yeah. Hmm.
I have to tell you a funny story. So my daughter and I had gone for a run yesterday together. And right when we come in, the hail starts. And it's like those big, giant, hail balls. And we were both just so grateful that we were in the house safe and sound before that hit. Because she's like, we would have had a traumatic brain injury with being pelted with these,
Right.
hail. So we're joking about that, and then the thunder and the lightning, and then my power goes out for like 3 seconds. It just flicks, and then it goes right back on. And I said, "Oh, I kind of like losing power, and not for very long, but for a short period of time. Kind of like what you were saying, like." It's sort of an excuse to, well, the power's out. I guess I have to read a book, or I have to,
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
something else. And she
Hmm.
said, "Mom, if you like it so much, just turn off all your lights." And I was like, it's not the same. But I get the
Right.
point. Like, if you want an excuse to just sit and curl up with a book, you don't need to wait for the power to go out.
Okay. Point taken. Point
Point
taken. But
taken.
yeah, it's kind of easier to do when it's forced on you, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly. It's kind of fun to think, oh, the power's out. What are we going to do?
I can't. I can't do any work. I
I
can't be on
can't do
the
any
computer.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've had a couple of power outages, this year. So
Hmm.
yeah. So on a Saturday, I don't mind it if it happens during a work day. It's a little bit annoying.
True. Very true.
All right. Well, that might be a good segue into what we're talking about today.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, we've been talking about different thoughts, different quotes that hopefully motivate us and are inspirational, and not in a sappy sort of way, but just in a
Hmm.
thought provoking way about as we are making changes,
Right.
um, how can we keep that engagement and just keep putting
Hmm.
one foot in front of the other? Because sometimes you get tired.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep on keeping on. It's the
Mhm.
consistency that gets
Mhm.
boring.
Yeah.
It kind of gets boring sometimes doing what you got to do. And that's the difference between success and not having success, is being
Mhm.
willing to be bored and just keep going, because it's like sometimes it's the same thing. It's the
Yeah.
grind. That's why they call it a grind.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
So my
Hmm.
thought for the day, and this one does not have
Okay.
an author attached to it, so we can kind of tweak this the way we want to. There
Let's do
are
that.
two ways to be happy, and we might want to talk about that word here. But I'll say it again. There are two ways to be happy. Number one, change the situation,
Hmm.
or change your mindset towards it.
Love it. You got two options.
Two options
Both are viable. Both are doable. One's doable
hmm
every time,
every time.
right?
Yeah.
Every time.
Hmm.
The mindset
Yeah.
is always doable. You can't always change your circumstances, right? You're
Right.
not
That's right.
always totally in
Yeah.
control of circumstances. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts about the happy part of that?
Oh, right. Thank you. So happy, I was thinking happy can be a short-lived emotion. It can kind of come and go,
Yeah.
fleeting, so maybe a better word for that is contentment or joy, or have joy or contentment, or
Hmm.
maybe feel satisfied, sort of something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Happy's a
longer
great feeling.
lasting. Hmm.
Right. 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 Contentment can sort of last forever. We can be
Hmm.
content in whatever circumstance. We can
Yeah.
find peace or
Mhm.
satisfaction in any
Mhm.
situation. But happy, we're always looking for happy, and happy comes and goes. Happy is fickle.
Happy's fickle. Yeah.
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 And then I was thinking there are probably some times where it's better to change the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I'm trying to come up with something on the fly here. Well, for example, if I put my finger in a hot stove, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to find happiness keeping it there. I'm going to have to change my situation, right? That's kind of
Yeah.
an extreme example, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to change my mind. Like, oh, this isn't so bad,
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
right?
You really do have to pivot in that
You do have
situation.
to pivot, yeah. So there are
Mm-hmm.
probably some things that we can think about in our health journey and making, healthier habits about food, or for example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that there's a magnet on my car because I'm driving home from work on
Mm-hmm.
commercial. I skip lunch. Okay. I'm starving. And there's a magnet on my car and it sucks me into that McDonald's drive-through line every time. Right. So can I change my mindset? Yeah. How could I change the situation?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of times changing your mindset is something you ultimately want to do so that you
Mhm.
have control and power in all situations. But
Mhm.
sometimes we have to start with the easier, which is changing the circumstance.
Mhm.
Um, Sometimes it's hard to change the mindset takes a lot longer to
Mhm.
habitualize and to really gain strength over. It's a
Right.
practice.
It's a practice.
Because
I
you
love
can
that.
it
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, it's a practice, a constant practice. But to begin, so some ideas around that, right? How would you change that circumstance? What would you do differently? How would you? Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I go home a different way.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe I have a handful of nuts in my car. Like pecans are my favorite. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe I kind of back up and think, why am I skipping lunch?
Right. Back. Yeah. Reverse engineer. What got
Right.
me into this trouble in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I guess, so um and maybe once I try a couple of those things behaviorally as far as changing the situation, maybe that allows me some space to say, why am I so hungry in the first place? Oh, I didn't eat lunch. Why don't I eat lunch?
Hmm.
Well, because I don't think I can take a break. Okay, why don't I think I can take a break? Everybody else takes a break.
Right.
We're allowed
Yeah.
to take a break. Yeah. So sometimes I have to give
Hmm.
myself. So sometimes then that comes to the change in my mindset,
Hmm.
like giving then in that situation, giving myself permission to take the break that I am allowed and actually probably
Right.
encouraged to take.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Knowing that it will have that trickle down positive effect. And that circumstance that you change, that you might have to go to your supervisor and let them know, hey, just so you know, I'm going to start taking my break, so get used to it. Or letting your colleagues know, I know I haven't been taking my breaks, but guess what, I'm gonna, so y'all are gonna have to handle this. I'm out. Right. And advocating for yourself and really claiming what belongs to you. And this, I love that you mentioned that, how much of a backup we have to really reverse engineer, sometimes quite a ways. The goal, I don't want to drive through McDonald's on my way home when I'm hungry. That's maybe the goal. But in
Mhm.
order to even begin to fix that,
Mhm.
you oftentimes have to go way back upstream and find. So then the goal becomes, I'm just going to start taking my break every day, or I have to talk to my manager about taking my break, or like that's the goal first. Before you
Mhm.
got to fix that before you can ever fix
Mhm.
what's happening
Yeah.
downstream. So that's a really great example. It
Yeah.
can be as simple as just drive by, don't take a different route home, bring
Mhm.
some nuts. I oftentimes would tell myself, just don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look, don't
Mhm.
look. Keep driving, keep driving, keep driving, keep driving. Don't turn left, don't turn left, don't turn left. And that the minute you pass that driveway, it's much harder to turn around. I mean, you can still turn around if you wanted to, if you really wanted to.
Yeah.
But just kind of helping yourself just keep driving home. Just keep driving home. You don't want that. You don't need that.
Driving.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I will tell you, one of the things that had helped me, probably not in the beginning of my health journey, but certainly as I started to get better about keeping healthy, whole foods in the house, whether it was prepped foods or just things I knew I could grab. I started to become disenchanted with what McDonald's had to offer, because I knew what I had at home was so much better.
So much better. Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of your patients say that in coaching sessions. They'll say, guess what, Rachel? The other day, I didn't even want to go through the drive-through because I knew that what I had was going to taste better. It was like it was no longer worth it. It's not worth, 10 extra minutes of not being hungry, not worth it, because what I'm going to actually eat at home is so much better, and I prefer it now. And that's a huge breakthrough.
Right. Yeah, that's great. That's so good. And I'm thinking about, which one do I do first? Do I change my mindset? Do I change my situation? And sometimes it really depends on how we're wired and what our personality is. So sometimes it's easier for us to make a behavior change. And then, to your point, in making that behavior change, that brings a mindset change. Some people are other way around. Some people have to change their thinking, and then their behavior changes. And I think you can, they're probably very learned, expert researchers who can argue both places.
Yeah.
But then there's the N of one here, where I can think of times where I changed the behavior, and then my thought process changed. Yeah. And I can think of times for me where I changed my thought process, and then my behavior changed. Yeah.
Right. And really the whole goal we're talking about here is finding contentment, right? Finding satisfaction but in order to find that, we've got to make a change either in our mindset or in the circumstances.
Yeah.
And both, I would argue, require action. These are not passive. These don't just happen to you.
Yeah.
They are actually an active, decisive choice to not go through the drive-through. It takes a choice. It's a breaking of the pattern. It's a chopping off that habit at the legs, right? Choosing a mindset means you're actively re-engaging your mindset on something else. You're meditating on something different or better. You're repeating a mantra. You're telling yourself why you want what you really want, not just this quick fix.
What do I want? Active. Do I really, really want?
I'll tell you what you want, what you really, really want. Hey, who is that?
I can't remember. I don't know. I just remembered Chicken Little, the movie. Oh, and then one of the little friends sings that in there. So funny. That's from way back. That's from like 20 years ago.
That the song is like from, way back.
Yeah, way back.
I'm thinking about my high school friends. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so I was thinking of another situation where, that I've worked on myself, if I could share, where, sometimes I get I feel unhappy or deprived or sad or even a grief, that I can't eat, I walk past the gals selling the Girl Scout cookies and, choose not to buy them. And, sometimes feel like, why can't I eat? Why can't I? And, there's a line 6 people deep. Well, why can't I eat like that person and not have that? Or everybody else is, some of that kind of unhappy thing, around.
Yeah.
For me, like I'm the only one who has to struggle with this, and who, blah blah. So that's where I think really working on mindset has been a huge benefit for me. And just to think that, a couple of different ways of addressing that is,
Yeah.
first of all, I'm not the only one.
Mhm.
The universe has not singled me out to say, Julie Gilbert, everybody else can eat all the Girl Scout cookies they want, except for Julie Gilbert. Yeah, not true. Not true.
Right.
So I'm exploring the validity of that thought,
Mm.
that negative thought, and discovering, oh, that's not true. And actually, the truth is, nobody can eat whatever they want. I
Right.
mean, I can think of 2 people in my life that it felt like that.
Uh-huh.
Not quite true. Because just because they look healthy on the outside doesn't mean they're healthy on the inside. That's a whole
Right.
nother conversation. But nobody,
Right.
the truth is, nobody can eat whatever they want, processed food wise,
Hmm.
and stay healthy and have the longevity that
Hmm.
that most of us desire. So that's the
Right.
truth. Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm.
And that's a key point right there of what do you desire?
Mhm.
I have a specific goal in mind for my health, my longevity, my aging well, my mindset of aging well, not succumbing to what we think of as old age and aging. But and so that comes with some parameters. If I don't care about those things and I don't care about what food does to my body, then I can eat however I want because I can let it take its course. So it's what do you want? What are
Mhm.
you asking for from your health, from your body, from your lifespan and your health span?
Mhm.
And if I can add a little anecdote for myself with that story that you just told, one of the ways I've helped myself with my mindset around that same scenario, right? Everyone's lined up at the grocery store and all these cute little Girl Scouts, and I know all of us have this rebellious sort of autonomous voice within us, right? And frequently it sabotages us in a way that we don't want it to. I
Mhm.
deserve those cookies. I should be
Right.
able to have those cookies,
Mm.
right? Um, I'm going to do it and no one could tell me no. Okay. But when we harness that power of that voice, when we harness
Mhm.
the power of the rebellious and the autonomous, right? The autonomous is the voice that wants to do their own thing. It's the
Mm.
part of us where we all kind of feel like my favorite color is green, not yours. We get kind of like, we kind of own our own, like, I want to beat to my own drum. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
When I walk by a stand of cookies like that and I feel that part of me kind of feel poor me or want to sabotage, I let the other autonomous girl take over
Mm.
the mindset. And she says, not my food. Y'all are fools. I don't know what you're doing in that line, but I don't eat those cookies, or I get to not eat those foods, right?
Mhm.
That's not the way I choose to eat. And it feels
Mhm.
very empowering to know that I have my own way, my own path. It's my path. I've designed it. I've designed my method that works for Rachel. And I encourage all of my coaching clients, we got to design the path that works for each individual person, right? It's all a little different, some
Mhm.
basic fundamentals. But it feels really empowering to say, nope, that's not my path. My path is over in that produce department, and it feels very individual, and it can be a way to boost your self efficacy and control, your
Mhm.
confidence in your
Right.
path. It's
Right.
not my path. This is my path.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You're right. Because a lot of times when everybody else is doing this over here, we're
mhm.
thinking, what's wrong with me? We feel
Right.
insecure in our
Hmm.
path. And so it is important to remind ourselves what our goals are and maybe think about the last time I had the sleeve of Girl Scout cookies, how I
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
and how that served me. And if I wanted to, yeah, I can do that. But you know what? Today,
Yeah.
I don't want to today.
Right. Right.
And
That's
then,
another great one. Not today. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe
yeah.
next year. Not today. They're going to be around forever, y'all. Girl Scout cookies aren't going anywhere. And they've been around for decades. You know what they taste like? They taste the same because they are processed. There's nothing special or fancy about the ones that come out this year. Maybe next week.
Rachel,
Maybe next year.
I think there's a new a new flavor or something like that. So
I
anyway,
think they all
but,
taste the same. They all taste the same to me.
the other thing is that I've discovered that there are other things, foods that are whole and real and have some sweetness to them that I can really enjoy and feel good about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
yeah, can I eat a Girl Scout cookie and not feel guilt or shame? Of course. And that's not what we're saying here. We're just saying that a leader, a lot of times you don't feel happy, about right.
It's that's not leading to the joy or the contentment or the peace, the sense of peace.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels like we got, we're controlled by it. So yeah, we want to be in control of our situation by reminding ourselves, changing the mindset around it, or changing there's no, we're not going to actually, they're always going to be Girl Scouts in front of the Safeway, every spring.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, my guessing. I could go to another grocery store, but no, I don't need to change my situation. I just need to change my thinking about it. Like, yeah, I could have that right now, but that's not going to serve me. And I have something I got my date and my dark chocolate.
Yes.
That's so good. Yeah.
That's so good. And it's not highly addictive. It is
Right.
not a highly palatable food. You're not being hijacked by the food industry. And you know what? Donate money to the Girl Scouts. We love the Girl Scouts. We love what they're doing. We love their organization. Donate your money, right? Buy a box of cookies, but just say, hold the cookies, please. And do your good thing, But you're exactly right, man. I'd much rather have a really whole, yummy, sweet treat and feel good about it, and then not feel hijacked.
Right.
And like, I can't eat enough. I
Right.
I feel, man, when I eat a date with some chocolate chips on it or some peanut butter on it, it's filling. It is very satisfying.
Yeah. So true. So true. Very good. Okay. So I did make a nice dessert. We're having two of our 4 kids are going to be over for dinner tonight.
Oh.
And my husband's making fish tacos. So, so I don't know what fresh fish he has, but he's going to, he'll probably saute that in a pan. And then we have all kinds of, I make this beautiful cabbage slaw. And then we're using, a cactus tortilla. This is, which is super fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super fun. Yeah. So we'll have that, and lime juice and avocado and tomato, onion, etc., cumin, all the good stuff. And then I'm making a coconut chia pudding. I might have said something about it, but it's been so good. A coconut, milk, and then chia, which helps kind of make it a puddingy, because it absorbs moisture. And then it's a little bit of raw local honey and some vanilla, cinnamon, and then I use my immersion blender and I whip it until it's yummy goodness. So it's really delicious.
That sounds delicious. High in fiber. Sounds omega-3s and the chia pudding and the chias.
Yeah. And I'll throw some hemp hearts in there and some ground flaxseed in there too, which kind of makes it more thicker. So
yeah. Yum. Good. Oh, that sounds delicious.
How about you?
What's so great? Yeah, for dinner, we've eaten up all of our leftovers, and we're kind of like, tonight's a cooking night. So my husband and I need to put our heads together. But as I'm thinking about it, I know I have a ton of frozen veggies in the freezer that I can roast. I might just throw together I might just do a kind of a basic nourish bowl, a really simple, maybe some farro or some bulgur as my grain, some roasted veggies. I'm out of greens, like fresh greens, so it'll be quite a more simple meal. Open up a can of beans and toss those in there, and something really simple. Yeah,
sounds good. Simple is good. Simple's good.
It is.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a gourmet meal every night. Yeah.
No, and that feels freeing, right? Just get some food. Just get some food in me. That's all I need.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. You already got your run-in for today, Rachel, because it might it might sweep you away if you go out there now.
I know. Wear some ankle weights, everybody.
Right.
That'll keep you grounded.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
You
right.
have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Bye-bye.